Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And today we will be talking about what everybody is talking about right now as of October the 13th. Everybody is talking about the Heritage Auction, honey. Like, baby, the people are upset. Do you hear me? They are mad, okay? The people are upset and angry because Hasbro decided that they were going to go ahead and give all their lots filled with props from 1993 all the way down to 2023, where we had Cosmic Fury. So pretty much everything, right? I mean, lots filled with pictures, suits, helmets, props, monster heads, Zord heads, guns, blasters, anything you can think of that this show had, it is in this auction, right? So the people are upset because they are just like, what? What is happening? Does that mean the show is over? Is this the final nail in the coffin? Oh my God. What is happening? You know what I'm saying? So people are going in, honey.
But I thought we were clear that it was more or less the final end of this era.
I mean, listen, you know, for the people in the back that had hope, right? Because there were rumors going around. There was rumors circulating that the show had maybe was coming back in some sort of way. It was coming back in like a new way that Hasbro was going to spin it or something, and people had hope. People had hope. And some people were still hanging on to the hope of they were going to do season 32. Like bringing in some other Sentai or something, or trying to adapt that. So there was a lot of things that were going around for a hot little second. And yeah, when they announced that auction and people started seeing pictures of those suits and props, baby, like,
well, I mean,
the people were not happy.
Well, here's what I have to say to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this is like you said, this is stuff from dating back all the way to 1993. It has Meow suits from the Meow Rangers. It has a bunch of stuff, okay? Here's what I'm not, how do I say this? Where was my thought? I'm not surprised they're selling it because, for one, even if they were gonna, let's say, relaunch Power Rangers, the chances of them using stuff from 1993 is very unlikely. As we with episodes, like when with Once and Always, or Dimensions in Danger, they just kept building new props. It wasn't like the exact same one.
Exactly. Like, and to add to that, Lena, I'm sorry, I just want to make this quick point real fast. To add to that, I literally want to say exactly that. The fact that I don't know how many times we remade Mighty Morphin suits, because they were never the same suits. Hell, they weren't even the same suits in the 90s.
No.
right, yeah.
Not.
They weren't even the same suits in the 90s. More or less, whenever they remade them, like for Dimensions in Danger, for the Legendary Battle, for like all these different seasons, like they never had and all these different specials, they never had the same suits over and over. Like, they literally were remaking the same suit. So yeah. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's, and then even the Morphers, they remake the Morphers. Like, they don't use the same ones. Like,
yeah.
So I'm just, and I'm sure that having all this stuff in storage costs money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People are talking about that. Yeah.
So it's like, let's say, even if this is really is the final nail in the coffin, okay, let it be. But for all we know, they could just be letting, again, I'm not saying there's hope. I'm just saying there's another side to it. The side that they could be letting all of this go to start completely freaking fresh.
Right.
No Ophelia, no, like, why, who wants this stuff? The only people that are gonna want this stuff is either the original actors and actresses and OG fans, like hardcore OG fans who have shit tons of money to spend.
Repeat that last part for the people in the back.
Like shit ton of money, because these things are not going to be cheap, okay?
No.
Auction?
Hell no.
I freaking hate auctions, okay? I hate auction because, like, I know my poor ass would never be able to afford an auction. And even if I could afford it, why do I want to? Why is it a price for me to spend $9,000 or like $8,000, like $90,000 even on a suit, let's just say? Why? I see that. I see like rich people get so turned on by stuff like that, and I'm like, like they get so like excited. They're like, "What auction?"
No, it's true. It really is. Like, it's true. Like, people get so excited. Like, especially people that got money. It's like, ooh.
Like, okay. And I'm like, you realize that with that kind of money, you could have bought like 4 of a brand new model of that same one, right? Like I'm just saying, like, why are you acting like it's such a pleasant thing to spend so much more money to bid above everyone else?
I know I'm going to speak in the position of poorness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not poor exactly, but at the same time, like, I'm not rich. I'm not well off either. But like, I will speak on the lower tier of the financial status here.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to bidding, all I'm gonna say is this: if I had the money, depending on what it is, yes, I would absolutely like participate, right?
But Brandon, really, you're gonna spend like $90,000 on like a jacket? Let's just say,
depending on what it is. It depends on what, and it depends on the price and what it is. It depends on the price and what it is. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you, because if I got the money, why not? You feel me? Like, if I got the money, like, hell yeah. Like, depending on what it is,
right. From like you're like from one of those like little shops, you could just order where they can custom make you a jacket versus you auctioning it off.
But it's nothing like the actual thing that was worn in the show, or like that was used in the show, that actually had the actors like they actually touched it for like hours and hours on end, and they're like waving it around in the show, like that. That has like a specific kind of like different element to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're paying for the feeling, for the memory. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, in some ways I kind of understand it, and then in some ways it's also kind of like, what the fuck? That's why I say it depends on what it is and how much it is.
But you're saying memories, right? But they're not your memories, so they were their memories.
But I seen it.
Did you though?
Yeah, I seen it in the show. Like, for example, like, just quick example, right? Like, I don't even know if this thing is even being auctioned off, but like, for example, like the morphers. Well, yeah, the morphers are being auctioned off. So like, and they did use them. So it's like, for example, the morphers, and they're holding the morphers or whatever, and just so happened that this morpher was used by Twee Train. Damn well would want that. Because I'm just like, yes. Like, this is something that I know that the legendary, the late, the beautiful Twee Train held this in her hand and screamed this morphing time. Even though she probably only did it when she filmed the morphing sequence, which was one time. Still, the point is, she held that thing and she said, saber-tooth motherfucking tiger. So yeah.
Okay. If we're talking about Twee Train's morpher, whatever, anything she's touched, but wouldn't it just be more ideal to offer to the families first?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. Because I don't know the actual person's real name, but they go by Nandita on Twitter and Instagram. They actually brought up a really good point and actually said some really good things about that. Basically, the post actually went viral, but basically saying that they felt that the family should actually have obtained or should be able to obtain Twee's costume and helmet. So, in that regard, obviously, like the first time I was just making like an actual, just like like just like an example, right?
For sure.
But in terms of
everything else,
like the actual family, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I would most certainly would rather have the family own it, or especially if I had the money, I would buy it and then gift it to the family for free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just something like that, because it's one of those things where it's like such a person who is like that legendary in the fandom. Like, yeah, I would rather them have that versus like, you know what I'm saying? Like a no shade, and I'm really not trying to be shady when I say this. Like, so please do not take it like, you know what I'm saying? Don't take it ill or anything like that. But like a Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like you pretty much have a helmet. Like you have like someone made you your helmets and stuff like that. You have like a costume that was made. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it may not be the exact thing that you wore on the show, but you still have a chance to own it if you purchase it, which still sucks, by the way. Welcome to capitalism. Still sucks. But at least you have a chance to own it. Whether, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, you know what I'm saying, rather than someone like Twee who passed away decades ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it's like, well, somebody's going to own her stuff at this point. So yeah, like in her regard, absolutely. Like I hope and pray someone purchases it and gives it to the family for free. Like, because that's what I would do.
Well,
personally.
Even aside from that, but what I was trying to initially say was, I feel like with them opening this up, and, trying to get rid of their stuff, I personally felt like as a thank you, they should at least reach out to all the actors and actresses and their families.
Of course, yeah.
If they're not around, to see if they're willing to obtain anything. And if they weren't, then yes, the rest will go into an auction. Then I feel like that's fair because like I understand, like, like at the end of the day, like for us being fans, owning that stuff, like that kind of stuff is cool. Even like I personally wouldn't do it, but let's say someone like you who well, like one day will eventually have the money to be able to do that, and you want to do that, great, right? But I just feel like the people who obviously worked in it, and not everyone who became a ranger hated the fact that they were a ranger, right? We all know that there are many people that are very proud of the fact that they became a ranger, and they hold those memories so close and so dear, right? And for most of the people in the fandom, they their castmate became their best friends, right? They were so very close to this day. And so like I just think that if anything, it would be fair for them to have the first picks first, and then the rest can go into an auction, based on what they didn't want, right? And it's just a shame that, and I know Will has been sending tweets that Dino Hunter posted, for example, and I know someone made a comment about like, well, why didn't she steal her costume? And I'm like, well, we don't know what happened on set, in the sense that like they could be taking inventory, so she couldn't actually steal her costume. Right. Like they kept track of things, right? So I hate when people go, oh, well, then why didn't they just take it like some of the previous Rangers? Like small little things, like if they disappear, like a Morpher disappear, no one's gonna notice that, right? But in suit, like that's a little.
I remember JDF said that, I think it was him. He said that he had put the suit on and then put clothes on over and walked off set with his suit. I think his Dino Thunder suit or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, listen, that's just like, I remember Karen Ashley even saying this. She was like, especially during her time on the show, which I most certainly believe, she was saying that when she was on the show, basically, like Saban was like, no, you cannot keep your stuff. And if you do try to take it, we will fire you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they
Like,
threatened to
you're
fire
done.
them over it?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Like they were like,
Well,
no,
that's
you
why
do
you
not
wait
get to
till the
keep
end.
anything. You
That's
do
why you wait till the end to do
like he was like,
it.
no, you don't keep shit. And
Well,
it's like, oh well, damn. Like that's why she was like, that's why because Tracy Lynn Cruz was the one who actually ended up with her communicator, and that same communicator
She's
was
had
passed
that
down from
thing for
Twee
years.
Train, from
Oh,
Karen Ashley to Nakia Burrise to
I didn't
finally
know
her,
that.
and
Wow.
she was able to keep it because she was the last one who had it.
Mm.
And so it sucks, but it's just one of those things where it's like whenever they wanted to try to keep certain things, unless they were like, yeah, we'll allow you to have it, they weren't allowed to keep any of that stuff.
well, yeah, exactly, right. So that's why, like, I don't know, I this whole auction thing, I personally don't care in the sense that like do what they will with it, but I just think it's only fair to offer to friends and family, their friends and family and whoever is involved, and the actors and actresses themselves, and like I know have that first before it went out for an auction because even with Matt Austin, right? He was like, there are photos that he never seen before, and and the fact that like, and we all knew this that the Rangers got very very little money for their time on the show, right?
Yeah.
And so it was just unfortunate that on top of the fact that they didn't get paid a lot, they're now not they have to like auction like they have to try to get in the auction and know fully well they're gonna be outbid too.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. They will most
Hmm.
certainly be outbidded. Like, I mean, because I mean, no shade, and this once again, this is not me trying to be funny or anything, but not a lot of them are like, rolling around in dough.
No, they're
You
not.
feel me? Like, they out here still, you know what I'm saying?
Like Matt was pretty upfront. He was like, the money I made it was gone in a couple years.
Okay.
Like he was,
Like, and some of them are struggling artists
yeah,
still. So it's like ain't nobody got
Hmm.
no thousands and thousands of dollars just to throw away
exactly. I mean,
into
like,
a thing, into a prop.
exactly. And I know like Adeline Kane one time said in an interview that really put into well, like not put into perspective for us, but like as in you and I, but for people, right? She was saying like, it may seem like I'm rich and everything like that because I've been booking so many shows. But the reality is that like when I make the money, I need to make sure I put it into a savings account for a rainy day. Because what if I don't get booked again
Hmm.
after this?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
mortgage to pay and I have to like, do this and that, and I remember that stuck with me because I'm like, that is actually so true because being an actress or an actor is even worse than like, than some of the some of the jobs out there, right? Because
Hmm.
changed so much. AI has come into play. So many things have like got involved. And so they could be needed one day and the next not. And
Hmm.
who knows when the next job is.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the sad part. It's just that like, like you said, people are out here thinking that like, oh, these actors are rolling around in dough and they got so much money, but they got to pay their agents, they got to pay their managers, they got to
Hmm.
pay insurance, they got all these things that they got to pay for. The housing,
Yeah.
groceries, like
Yeah.
once they done paying
Hmm.
all this stuff, it's like, what money you think they got?
Right. A lot of them end up getting regular jobs. Like we see Glenn McMillan. He's a real estate agent. Uh
Right.
Philip Jeremy, I think that's his name, Philip Jeremy or
Uh
Jeremiah.
Philip,
I'm
oh
saying
goodness,
John Marie,
Philip J
John
Jean
Marie,
Marie.
Max.
Jean
Hmm.
Marie.
yeah, like he's a real estate agent now too, right? Like he just recently
Yep.
Wow.
certified. And so like people are really just turning into like, like real life jobs. And like we know obviously the guy who played Leo, Danny
Slavin.
Slavin.
Slavin, like he's a lawyer. So like those are real jobs that's gonna get them, get them further in life, right? And it's unfortunate, right? Because once upon a time, like some of them could get booked up really quick. Like I know Amy kept getting jokes. Amy kept getting jobs, is what I was trying to say. Kept getting jobs over and over and over. And
Mhm.
obviously, who knows? She obviously left on her own terms. Who knows?
Mhm.
But like now she's a director and she's doing pretty well for herself as a director. She was on Supergirl, right? She was on a few different things. But like you just never know where your current job may take you. It may take you nowhere and you may end up having to find a regular job. Um and one of my clients, an actor, he was doing really, really well before the pandemic. And after the pandemic, he has said that like he's not getting booked as much and what have you, right? And don't get me wrong, like they're doing decently for themselves, but he was pretty upfront. He was like, I have to start looking at, my future and see and take the life a different direction because um I was doing fine. I was booking up left, right, and center, and now since the pandemic happened, it hasn't been as great.
Oh yeah, like story of my life.
Yeah,
Like that's literally kind of what happened to me. Like, not so much the pandemic was at fault,
yeah,
but like I started out like when I moved out here, I graduated from school, even though I auditioned for Power Rangers a couple times. But I feel like my first time I actually got the farthest. After that, like I couldn't even get to the second round, but whatever. That's neither here or there. But anyway, my first time when I auditioned for Samurai, I got pretty far. But we're not getting into that story. But anyway, um, but when after I auditioned for Power Rangers, and then after I graduated from college, from grad school, basically from that point on, like I was like acting like hardcore. Like I was like getting booked for things left and right. Had my first feature movie with Kevin Hart. Even and that in that one, I was actually elevated to stunts. So that's how I started being a stunt person. And it was just like I was just like training really hard, doing like little doing stunts in little like B movies and stuff, like not really B movies, but like I meant to say like indie films. But because like none of these films I don't think ever got produced or ever made it to TV. I don't know. But like I know one of them was actually featured in a festival, and that had just happened to be the one that I
Mm.
got kicked out of a window, which that was actually a lot of
Oh
fun.
wow.
But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, like I had like a really good career for a while. And then life happens. And it's
Mhm.
like, shit, what do you do? It's like I now have to pivot. I got to figure some shit out. And so I ended up just having to work, find a regular job, had to work, and then literally the year of the pandemic, 2020, I had a new agent and everything. My best friend was like, "Hey, my agency is looking for new people. They like you. They like your headshot. They want to talk to you." I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." And literally about to leave my job, and what happens? The world shut down. So, like I totally get that. Like it sucks that you know, and then like ever since the world like kind of reopened again, like at this point I'm just like, listen, I'm gonna try to rebuild myself up again, but even then it's like I still have to be careful because now we dealing with it with this
I
thing now that's out here. And of course, climate change and a whole bunch of other shit. So the world has a whole new thing of problems that we have to deal with on top of navigating life and trying to explore our dreams and our passions. And it's just like on top of all of that, in terms of the actors, in terms of them, it's like, well, shit, who's to say that even after the pandemic or shoot with some of the Rangers who were still acting during that time, like your Beast Morphers actors, your and your Dino Fury team, Dino Fury Cosmic Fury team, like who's to say that they could even like afford it? Because they out here still grinding. Like at least with your older actors, they probably had a little more time, and they might be able to, probably drop a few little coins. But these young kids out here, they still grinding.
Yep.
So like, I highly doubt that they out here rolling in dough unless they got. I mean, listen. I ain't trying to count nobody's pocketbook, but all I'm saying is I don't really necessarily think that the younger kids got that kind of dough like that.
No.
Because especially in terms of acting, because the only one who probably might have it is Kai.
Yeah.
Because Kai been out here working with Rihanna
Nico
with the
did.
modeling and shit. So
True.
When did that happen?
oh yeah, he was a part of her. Well, no, I'm lying. I think he did. No, I think he did model for Fenty. But then when they asked him, this is the story from how I've heard it allegedly. When they asked him particular photo shoot that they asked, and he said he wouldn't do it. So he decided not to not to go there, and do it. But
he's been modeling for a jewelry company back in Hawaii too.
Mm-hmm.
The most recognized jewelry company there. So it's like he's still doing his thing. Like, and his girlfriend recently graduated from the University of Hawaii too. And so like they're like, starting their life essentially.
Exactly. And he got a kid, don't he?
He's got two.
I think two.
Yeah. So like he's a father. Like this man ain't got listen. Like I said, I ain't trying to count nobody's pocketbook. But at the same time, I'm like, no, if we just hypothetically thinking, like children cost a lot by themselves.
Yep.
Like,
Living is not.
Let's keep it a buck. Like children cost a lot. Being on some, the actors should be able to at least have been able to pick and choose the one thing that they want. Absolutely. Like I do agree with that. However, what I also do want to bring up, and I do want to go back to this main point because this actually makes the point that I'm about to make right now. In terms of the costumes themselves, I'm pretty sure Hasbro probably is holding on to at least one of those costumes because they've made multiple versions of those suits. They have to. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to have made multiple versions throughout all the years, honestly, of these suits. The only ones that they probably didn't make multiple versions of or probably couldn't were the monster suits. The monster suits and like the Zord suits. But in terms of like the Ranger suits, I'm pretty sure more than likely they probably have like the hero version of those suits. Probably just hanging around for their own personal thing. Because like I in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that they're getting rid of everything. Like not everything. Now, are they getting rid of for majority? Yes. But are they getting rid of like everything in terms of like all the suits, all the props? Like yes, all the props for sure. But something in me is at least being like they probably gonna keep like at least one of the suits, at least one, just so that they can be like if they want to go somewhere or something like that and promote Power Rangers, they at least have one hero suit there, being like, "Hey, here you go, right here, boom." And also, if they wanted to like sell it to like have like a museum, like put it in like a museum or something, they could do that too. Because I know a lot of places do that too. Like they'll like sell them to like different museums and just have them just like sitting there. So I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that's not the case. Maybe they did go ahead and just like sell it. Sell like are basically like getting rid of everything. Maybe they are, but for some reason, for me, I just feel like they have multiple versions of these suits. So, like, something just tells me like they're not getting rid of all of them. They're probably just getting rid of the majority. of the suits?
Hmm. I have some thoughts on it, and I kind of have. I can see where people are coming from when it comes to feeling bad for some of the actors that they aren't going to get the opportunity to have things that meant something to them. I think one of the most interesting things is I heard that there may even be set photos like Polaroids from makeup, hair and makeup, and set Polaroids from years ago that some of the actors probably haven't seen since they were on the show back in 95 or back in 2000 that are up for auction as well. I'm not sure how true that is, but if that is the case, that's kind of crazy. But um, something that I was thinking of when seeing the discourse on this is a business. This is a company that like Hasbro is no different than any other production company where
Right.
at the end of a season they keep things and they put them in storage, and then this is stuff that this has gone. Oh my God, this stuff is just been around the world, I guess, when you think about Saban having it for what was that? That was about 10 years. And then they moved over to New Zealand. So New Zealand had it for like 20 years. And then Hasbro bought it. And then they had actually no. Saban brought it back for a couple of years, about a decade. Now Hasbro has it. So I'm assuming some of that stuff may have gone over to New Zealand as well. I'm assuming. But it's like, we hear this with other TV shows and other franchises that they'll keep stuff for a long time. And um, I think we said this off air, like it costs money to have these things in storage. So we've heard for a couple of years now that they were looking to do something completely different with Power Rangers, and Power Rangers as we have known it for the last 30 years would be different. So there wouldn't be an opportunity to use some of those things in the show anymore, because if the show was going to have a complete revamp, there wouldn't be a reason for it. And then we also have heard all the rumors about how Hasbro feels about Power Rangers. So it's like, the idea of them getting rid of all this stuff, it's not that much of a surprise, honestly, when you really think about it. Um, but I love the idea that somebody had of like for Twee in particular, if they gave some of the things that she wore or that you know that was a part of her character, if they gave it to her family. That's a sweet thing. But at the same time, I think because this is a business, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about making profit. They're not thinking at all about any of the actors. It's business, and it
Exactly.
sucks, but it unfortunately that's how it goes. Um, but it's oh my God, it's just I think a lot of us in the fandom we're just going off of emotion because we're still salty about what's happening with the show, which we still don't really know. Um, and then to just have all of that history just being thrown into the ether, it's just crazy. And then you really have to have some money. You have to be a wealthy person to be able to even get anything. And then I do wonder, like, there's so much stuff that is going to be auctioned off. Like, I wonder how much of it is actually going to be sold. And then the
Right.
stuff that isn't sold is just going to be trashed. That's crazy. Oh,
I don't think that, well, here's the thing, right? And like honestly, too, I'm not gonna hold you. Like just to add on to what you said about like the people and like how they feel and stuff. I said this before the show, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. Honestly, this is gonna sound real bad. Forgive me before I even say it. Y'all probably know where I'm going with this. But honestly, when I found out that the Heritage Foundation was the Heritage, not Heritage Foundation, that's a completely different place. The Heritage Auction, because the Heritage Foundation is something else. The Heritage Auction, when they were initially slated to go ahead and start selling all the things, back when they said it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now that they are, getting rid of everything. Because, like, basically, when we reported this a while ago, I think that a lot of people didn't realize what was happening. You know what I'm saying? Because this news dropped months ago, like at least a good 2 months ago, at least. So we knew it was coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't something that we just all of a sudden just woke up one day and was like, oh my goodness, they're selling everything. No, like this was something that was told to us months ago. Like they came out with a promotion and everything. So I think people just thought that they were getting rid of the things from probably just thought that they were getting rid of the things from Hasbro, but didn't actually put two and two together, thinking that they were getting rid of everything. Even though the guy literally said, like, we have lots and lots and lots filled with merchandise from Power Rangers that we are getting rid of. So I don't think people really understood the gravity of what was actually happening at the time. I understood it immediately. Here's the thing. Me personally, like, I can understand why people are upset and why people are like, oh my goodness, this sucks, whatever. Me personally, I don't see it. For me, I genuinely don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because going back to Will's point, we knew it was happening. We knew it was happening. This is something that is like, yeah, it sucks because it's just a reminder that, oh, the show is, the show as we know it is done. Like it is over. But on the same token, it's not like we did not know this. Like Lena said earlier, we knew this already. So the fact of the matter is, like, of course, when they started like being like, oh, well, all this stuff, and I'm seeing all these different tweets from people being all mad and upset. I'll let you have that because people are going to feel how they feel. So obviously, I'm going to let you feel how you feel. Okay? Like in the words of Kanye West, I'll let you have your moment. Well, he didn't say that, but I'm basically like, but Beyonce had the best record of all time. However, like on the same token, it's like, yo, like me personally, I genuinely don't care. I don't. Like it, for the people, the main ones that I actually felt a little for were the actors, right? Because at least they like I would have at least liked them to keep a helmet or a prop that meant something to them, like a jacket or something to have for them to like remind them of like, oh, this was something I had when I was in the show. But like Will said, it's a business. This is a business. This is what happens. And also, let's not forget, there are plenty of franchises and movies that have sold all their stuff after they were done with it. So I don't understand where the sudden, oh my goodness, the world is falling. Like, I don't understand where this energy is coming from. I don't get it. Like, this is something that happens all the time when something is officially done. So I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's just people getting in their feelings.
But my thing is, we should be past that at this point.
Mhm.
At least I think. At least I think. I think we should be past that because we knew this already. You know, like this isn't something that we just found out yesterday. We knew
Mhm.
about the Heritage auction coming up. We knew that Power Rangers was pretty much done. This version of Power Rangers is pretty much done. We knew that. So it's like, so all this stuff is kind, especially with some of the tweets I've been seeing over the past few days, it's starting to kind of feel like fake outrage to me. Like, oh, what can I say to like get some traction, or or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I kind of feel like some of these tweets are bordering at this point. Like, some of the stuff about, like, even you got some people who are literally like, you know, getting upset with other people for saying, I would purchase an actor's suit or whatever, or I would purchase this thing or whatever. And their thing is like, well, you should let the actors have it. Like, why are you buying their stuff? And it's like, because they want it. That's the answer. Because they want it. And they got the money to do it. So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, like I said, I completely understand. Yes, it would be nice if they had it, if the actors could, pick whatever they want, or they could have had the option to take whatever they wanted. But that's not what happened. And this is a business. Auctions are a business. This is what they do. They literally sell the things that they used in whatever production it was to get more money. This is what they do. So I'm sorry if a lot of y'all don't understand what auctions are, but this is what happened. And it's just like, you got 30 years of just props and merchandise that 9 times out of 10 was just sitting there rusting and collecting dust. Hasbro said, this shit got to go. Okay? We sitting here paying for these lots. This shit got to go. What we gonna do with it? Like, we ain't producing no more Power Rangers. Besides, allegedly, what's supposed to be coming down the pipeline is they trying to find somebody else to basically create the show while they're the overseers. So allegedly, what are you saying?
I wish they would just sell it somewhere else.
I mean, yes, but Hasbro also recognizes, and this is just something that I've always felt. I feel like Hasbro recognizes that while they don't want it, while this is not their first choice for a brand, they also still recognize the history and the potential that comes with it. And I'm pretty sure they're like, well, shit, if we can't do anything with it, we'll let someone else do the thing. And if it pops off, at least we can still get the profit from it. That's just business, honestly. Because I mean, if you look at Hasbro's track record in terms of how their other brands are faring, like, all of their brands have had some sort of dip at some point. I mean, just as D&D. Like, the D&D fans are over here like trying to throw hands with Hasbro every other week. So it's like, when it comes to just brands with Hasbro in general, like, it's giving real like maybe sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But it's not, but it's rarely ever anything like that's just completely consistent all the time, you know? And when it comes to just the idea of Power Rangers, especially after allegedly hearing that Hasbro really didn't want Power Rangers, it was actually the CEO at the time before he passed. He's the one who had the heart for it, but everybody else was like, nah, allegedly. It's like once they were like, okay, we're gonna get to this 30th anniversary, and then after that, all right, deuces. And that's kind of what it gave, honestly. It was like we gonna wait for them to get this 30th, and then after that, yeah, we gonna go ahead and throw this thing off and see who else want it. And I mean, honestly, like at this point, who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's gonna happen to the brand? But definitely we need some sort of break. And I've been preaching this forever. Like we needed a break. So, like, hopefully, whomever they decide that they want to pitch it to, who's going to come out with new whatever, with new content, hopefully it be something worth watching. The last and final topic that I definitely wanted to jump on, and honestly, this is like not even that big of a thing. I just really wanted to say this because I just thought it was just hilarious. So the most as of today, they just Boom Boonger just came out um with their episode where they get their upgrade, the Champion Boom Boonger, which is pretty much just a jacket. But this jacket, I'm not gonna hold you. The jacket features are actually kind of cool. So basically, what they can do is they can touch any symbol on their jacket because the symbols are all different, different powers from their meta. So like each car has like a specific kind of power, and all they have to do is touch the symbol of that car, and then they can use that car's power. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like that's a pretty cool little upgrade, right? Well, on this episode, like I was telling telling the group before we started recording, on this episode I got very emotional because there were a lot of emotional points in this episode, right? Like you had Gimba who finally realized that the team was waiting on him to come back because all this time Gimba was not a part of the team. Orange is Gimba, by the way. Like Boone Orange was not a part of the team. He pretty much was like, I am going rogue and I'm doing my own thing. So for weeks, you just had five Boom Boongers, counting the sixth one. Well, he finally comes back on this episode after a very emotional breakdown that he had when he realized that like the team really misses him and that they still cared about him no matter what. But then also, Mad Rex, which is their first villain, their first main villain that they fought, ended up basically unaliving himself because like he ends up like flying into space and blowing himself up. And the sad part about that was the fact that basically for the past couple of episodes, basically the new villain, Disrace, basically brought him back to life after he was killed the first time, brought him back to life, but wiped away his memories. So he basically was using him as a zombie pawn, basically. Well, then he regained his memories, but he was faking like he was he was a zombie, but he really wasn't. This episode, Disrace found out that no, like you're faking it. So what he does is he basically like gives him a modification where it wipes his memories, but also like raises his power level so high to the point where basically he was going to self-destruct And the goal was for him to defeat the Boom Boongers and kill him at the same time. But when the Boom Boongers basically like beat him with Champion Boom Boonger, like, you know, his he was defeated and they destroyed the modification, but he was still gonna die because his powers was so like out of control. So it basically was gonna make him self-destruct. The three bumbling villains that like basically be turning little random objects into monsters every week, those goofy asses were outside the whole time waiting on Mad Rex, because Mad Rex basically has like been kind of like their protector. And for the past couple of weeks, they were like, oh, we really want to, you know, establish his memories and get his memories back. So basically, at the end of the episode, after Mad Rex decides that he's going to go fly into space and blow himself up, they're on Earth running back, being like, "Oh yeah, let's not give up. We're gonna get Mad Rex's memories back. Yeah." And they go running off in the sunset, all happy and stuff. Meanwhile, their friend is flying into space to go and destroy himself. It was the saddest thing I have ever seen. I'm like, why is this show making me upset? What is going on? This show is making me very, very, very emotional, and I don't like it. Why is the show doing this to me? So, like, I say all of this to say, on the previews, they bring up the final boss, the final villain. So allegedly, this villain is called. Let me see. Let me double check, make sure I got the name right, because there is something about this villain that is actually funny as shit. So the villain's name is Wild Speed, right? But Wild Speed is based on a very special person. Who is it, y'all might ask? For those of you at home who probably don't have a clue. Wild Race is based on a very popular, very well-known singer who is a legend. Wild Race is based on Michael Jackson. If you look at Wild Race, you can see the nose, the very, very, very angular nose, the skinny lips, even the hair. They got it down to the hair. When I say I screamed laughing when I found out that this monster is based off of Michael Jackson, like, y'all, the laugh that erupted from me. Like, y'all have no idea how much I laughed at this. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know to like laugh or to be upset. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, how fucking dare you do that to the king of pop? However, comma, at the same time, this is funny as shit. Like, this is actually funny. And like, because each villain, if you look at him, he looks funny as shit. Like, I'm not even lying. He looks cool, but he looks funny as hell. Like, he looks crazy.
I see shades of Michael Myers too, man. But like robotic.
Yes. And it's like they have like the cheekbones, like everything. Like, they really went in. They were like, look, we are going to create Michael Jackson here. We got to really do this. But also, we can't make him look too much like Michael. But at the same time, we want to add enough resemblance to the point where it's like he still looks like a monster, but at the same time, that's Michael Jackson. Baby, let me tell you something. So it didn't dawn on me until someone pointed it out that all of the monsters, like each villain has like a puppet. This race has a snake. Mad Rex has a dog, like a little puppy. Wild Speed has a monkey.
Just like
All
Michael.
of those puppets that they have were animals that Michael Jackson owned.
Mm.
When I say, I'm like, you clever bastards. Y'all are clever as fuck for that. Because I would have never thought. Like, and shout out to Legion of Bloom for actually bringing that up because it would have never dawned on me. But yeah, like these are all pets that belong to Michael Jackson.
Mm.
And basically every villain had one of Michael Jackson's pets. But specifically, the Michael Jackson one had the monkey because the monkey was like the one that he always had with him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like I just like when I say the level of creativity is unmatched with this show, like it's unmatched. Like I'm really excited to see Michael Jackson in battle and what he's gonna do. Because if I'm telling you, if he starts moonwalking, I'm done. Like I'm so serious. Like if he starts moonwalking and he's like literally kicking the Rangers' asses, y'all gonna have to pick me up off the floor because I'm telling you now, it's gonna be a time. It's gonna be a time. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and bring that up because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great.
You're
Do
making me
y'all have
want to
anything else?
watch it.
What do you say?
You're making me want to watch it, but I still feel bad because I never finished the last. Well, that wasn't even the last one. Wasn't there one after that?
Yeah.
So would you say
Like
like the way that you're in it every time you talk about it, it seems like this was actually a good Sentai?
no, like, and the thing is, honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. So when it comes to like this Sentai in particular,
Mm-hmm.
like Boom Boonger, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna disagree with me when I say this, but there's a reason why y'all never heard me talk about King Oger. And King Oger was the one that came on after Dawn Brothers. I didn't like King Oger. Like, I know there are people who were like, oh, King Oger was one of the best Sentai I've ever seen. And oh, it was so wonderful. It was so great. Oh my God, King Oger, King Oger, King Oger. Me personally, I'm not in that crowd. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not a part of that crowd. Um, the reason of it was because I appreciate shows when they go above and beyond and they do things that are like remarkably different.
Mm-hmm.
But King Oger was too much. Like there still is it's one of those things where it's like when you go a little too far and you got to have somebody bring you in, like reel you in real fast. It was that
Mm-hmm.
because I realized that with King Oger, everything was CGI. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like the towns were CGI. The mecha was CGI. Like the whole show was CGI.
Mm-hmm.
The entire show. Like they'll literally be in the towns, like literally just be walking, and their whole show is filmed on a green screen. And they only had 4 directions. So like there wasn't no 3D nothing. Like it was just they're just walking through like this area and their shots were so stoic because they didn't have that much room to walk around in. So it was just like it was one of those things that was just like I appreciate the big move of trying to like create this big world that's like CGI and trying to create all these different kingdoms and things like that. But overall, I feel like for at least for me, it was poorly executed. And not only was it poorly executed, but the fight scenes were terrible to me. Like they rarely had fight scenes that made me go, oh wow, that was fucking cool. You know, like most of the majority of their fight scenes were these like sped up, choppy looking scenes that was supposed to make it look like everything was happening lightning fast.
Mm.
But it was so choppy and fast, and the camera angles were weird, and it was just like a lot was happening. And they rarely ever had like actual fight scenes where you could literally see everything. Like, I'm almost in the vein of like, bring back the shaky cam from RPM. At least with that, I could see everything. Granted, I felt dizzy as hell and needed to throw up, but like at least I saw it. Like at least I saw what was happening. With this, it was like you didn't even see what was happening because it was so choppy and everything moved so fast. So personally, like I know for me, I didn't like it. Like I said, I know there's plenty of people out there that was like, "Oh yeah, King Oger is one of my top favorites." Like I see it all the time on Twitter. People are like, "Oh, King Oger is one of the best seasons of all time." For me, not so much. I was actually happy as hell when King Oger ended because I was like, "Get this shit off!" Like I don't want to see this anymore. Granted, the suits are beautiful. Like they're stunning, honestly. The suits are stunning. The mecha looks beautiful. But the show itself, it was a chop. Like I was not feeling it. But Don Brothers before it, loved it. Don Brothers. Boom Boonger, not a fan of the costumes, but other than those jackets, like the actual Rangers look crazy. But when it come down to the actual show, to me, hands down, better than King Oger, hands down. So I would probably say like if you wanted to watch it, if you wanted to watch it, I would actually be like, yeah, go for it because it's actually a lot of fun. The characters are a lot of fun. Um, like the things that happen to the characters are cool. I'm not gonna lie. There's not that much story. Like if you're looking for like a show that is like really complex and like has like the huge story, which is why a lot of people prefer King Oger over Boom Boonger because King Oger actually had like an actual story versus Boom Boonger. Um, but I will say, like me personally, I prefer for Boom Boonger to not have a story because it's mainly a lot more character driven than story driven. So you're basically focused on the characters and their growth rather than the overall story's growth, which sometimes that works. And then sometimes it doesn't. But at least with this, like I do kind of feel like it worked out. So all that to say, Boom Boonger for the win. But yeah, let me know if you want to watch it because I can definitely send you some episodes.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Oh, I did have one other thing to say. So if you did have a nice disposable income, what would you get from the auction?
Now you already know. I don't know why you asked me that. You
Something
know
yellow.
exactly what I would get,
Oh,
huh?
Tanya's suit. Tanya's suit.
Tanya's helmet.
Oh, okay.
Zero Ranger 2 helmet. Absolutely. Hell, I can't wear the suit. Like, Tanya is like super tiny. Like, I could wear
Oh,
that shit.
right.
But, because back in the day, Tanya was like tiny, tiny. But, hell, I would definitely get that helmet. Hell yeah. Zero Ranger 2 yellow? Absolutely. I would get it. I surely would. I'd buy it. And then what I would probably do, I'm not gonna hold you. What I would probably do too, I'll buy the helmet. Um, and also the other thing I would get, I would get the SPD sidearm, their little patrol blaster.
Mhm.
Those things always look fucking cool to me. Like I don't know why, but those things look fucking cool. So I would get that.
I would get the Quasar Saber from Lost Galaxy. I have I had the toy when I was little, and obviously the toy is like nowhere near just the size, and it didn't, and it looked like it, but it, I've always wanted like the actual full size Quasar Saber. I think that would be so cool to have. And
Any particular ranger?
honestly, I think it would be the Green Damon. I've always had there was something about Damon's helmet that was just so that was my favorite helmet of the five. And I think
Really?
yeah. So I think I would also get Damon's helmet.
Interesting. Because I actually, for me at least, like that was my least favorite one.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, like especially like when he would call his Galacta Beast, like it just reminded me of Big Bird, but just green.
That thing looks scary, honestly.
Like, no, for real, like that shit was ugly as fuck. But no, like I feel like the worst one was pink. Cause
That
that
looks
pink
scary as
wildcat,
well.
that shit is made. That shit is what nightmares are made of. That is the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life.
What were they thinking when they made those ones in particular? Oh my God.
I have no idea. Like the only one that actually looked like remotely decent was like the gorilla, the wolf, and maybe the lion. But like green and pink, especially pink, like that shit is what nightmares are made of. That shit is ugly. Like hell nah. Like that, no. I don't know why they decided to do that with those animals, but
Lena, would you get anything?
Oh, heck no.
No.
Heck no. Because
like even if you had disposable income,
you're not supposed to think of, because like what am I going to do with it?
you could just have it sit there and marvel it.
It's dust. It collects dust, and like then I have to make sure it's clean all the time. And the more you clean it, you take away all the original authenticness of it. I,
Mm.
girl, I'm one of those people. I don't care for decoration because they're a waste of money.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
wow. But all right, guys, if you guys have any other things that you guys want to hear us talk about, or like if you have any comments on the things that we talked about tonight, because I know a lot of y'all have been, really upset or had your opinions on the most recent things that happened, please let us know. We would love to hear your opinions. We would love to know how you guys think about this situation in terms of, the heritage auction. If you're gonna buy anything, we want to know. Like, let us know in chat. Let us know wherever you're listening. Because I'm pretty sure there's comment sections. So let us know how you feel. But yeah, if you also enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your families, tell everybody, because we still trying to grow this hoe, even though it's been 6 years. We want more people. We want more people to listen to us. Doggone it. So yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and bounce up out of here. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.